is Wednesday, and that means our plant and garden expert, Craig Ignite, is joining us in the studio, taking your plant and garden questions through the WQAD Facebook Live, and I need to turn my volume down. I'm hearing myself.
Oh my gosh, whoa, yeah.
Before we get to the viewer questions, we want to talk about the snow that's in the forecast. A lot of people have flowers. Your volume also needs to get turned down.
Oh, good, we're both making it. I was wondering, I was like, didn't you just turn it off?
So anyway, flowers are already coming up for some of us. Anything to worry about with the snow?
It's not so much the snow, it's the cold weather.
Okay.
And everything's going to be good down to about 27 degrees. When we get below 27 degrees, we might see some damage, but it's not going to kill anything that is supposed to be outside. So this snow, I have actually seen tulips bloom in a snowbank where we got snow after they were in bloom, and they came through just fine.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, let's get started with some of your questions. Does Wallace test your soil, or can you recommend somewhere to test our soil?
Well, we don't at Wallace's, but I would check in with the local extension offices. Quite often they can send them off to the Land Grant College, and if they can't do the testing, I'm sure they have companies that you can send the soil to yourself to get tests back.
Okay. Jim wants to know what products are available to kill moss.
I would say you probably want to use Consan 20. Consan 20 it's rated to get rid of moss and algae. Does not harm plants as such. Just make sure that you use it according to the directions on the label.
Alrighty, well, Todd is asking, do I need to roll my yard? I have a lot of clay and I'm worried about compaction.
Well, you know, rolling your yard, and that's just what you get, is compaction. I think in most yards where the clay is compacted, it would be better to plug the yard, aerate it, open the ground up physically so that moisture and fertilizer can get down into the ground. So I would go more for aerating rather than rolling.
Okay. A lot of people are going to be getting ready for mulch, and Pam is asking, is dyed mulch bad for flower gardens?
No, they've chosen dyes that are not going to damage your plants. I must admit it looks so fake that, you know, I would never use it, but it is not going to damage your plants.
I don't know. I like that dark brown dye. I just love it.
Well,
anyway.
My question was for you then. No. All right. Well, this one is from Lisa. Is there a home remedy to keep squirrels away like garlic?
No, not a really good home remedy. I've had this discussion with several people, customers, and really the only good way to keep squirrels at bay is chicken wire. And you have to actually make a cage to put over the plants to keep. It's usually squirrels come in when you've got newly planted plants. There's something about that fresh potting soil that they just cannot resist, and then just throw everything on the ground, so you're out there constantly replanting. I actually made chicken wire cages to go on the pots. Once the soil settles in for a few weeks, the squirrels are going to leave it alone. And of course, there are the repellents, the Repel-Zol and things like that I've had very good luck with.
When's the best time to transplant black raspberry plants?
I would be getting them transplanted soon if you're transplanting, and I hope you're not transplanting them out of the wild, because you are going to be bringing diseases into your yard. Almost all wild raspberries are carrying some viruses, but again, when you transplant, cut them down very short, only about 4 inches above the ground, move them with a nice clump of soil, get them out of the ground, back in the ground, and of course, use the root stimulator.
Alrighty. Perfect. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, but get your questions out there and we'll try to get some more answered right after the break.
Back to Good Morning Quad Cities at 11. We're taking your plant and garden questions with our plant and garden expert, Craig Hignite, through the Facebook Live on WQAD's Facebook page. We got a lot of questions, so we're going to do turbo here. Sebastiano asking, can you start moonflowers from seeds, or do you have to buy the actual plant itself to grow?
You can go ahead and start from seed. Just remember that the seed are very large. Take a file and file them down until you just see the white interior of the seed. Soak them overnight before you plant them, and do not put them in the ground until about Memorial Day. They really like it warm.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Well, this is from Carolyn. Can I plant a hyacinth in the ground after it was started in a glass vase?
You can put it in the ground, but remember, it has been greatly depleted by not having a big area for its roots. It's going to take anywhere from 2 to 3 years before that plant comes back into bloom.
Connie has a large iris bed. What can they use to keep weeds and grass out?
You can use over the top. That'll get rid of the grass. That kills only grass. It's not going to damage your desirable plants. Unfortunately, weeds, you have to go in and hand weed to get rid of broadleaf weeds.
Perfect. Well, this is from Mick. When should I prune which hazel bush?
Witch hazel should be pruned immediately after it gets done blooming in the spring. It's one of the earliest plants that blooms, so if you prune it now, you're cutting the flowers off. After the flowers fade, go ahead and prune.
How do you transplant tulips that came as a potted plant?
Well, you would go ahead, keep them in the pot, and keep them well fertilized until they naturally go dormant. I would store it somewhere for the summer and go to the calendar, make a note, plant tulips on the 1st of September, and then you take them out of the pot and you make sure you get them about 7 or 8 inches deep, pointy end up, spread them out 6 inches apart, and again, coming out of a pot, you're looking at a couple of years before you're going to see any bloom again.
All right, perfect. Well, Willow is asking, is the weather going to mess up our fruit trees? Is there anything we can do to help them?
Keep your fingers crossed. Right now, trees are starting to bud out. I'm seeing a lot of early bloom on non-fruit trees so far. And again, it's that cold temperature after the flowers start to open up, and we can only keep our fingers crossed. The one thing you might do is have a hose ready and go out before or just at daybreak and spray the tree down with water to break the frost. Keep your fingers, crossed that you're going to not lose your fruit.
What can Janice put in a flower bed to make sure that perennials come back?
Well, just about any perennial should come back on a regular basis. The important thing is to work the bed up well, add some organic matter when you're getting the bed ready. When you have everything planted, put down preen to keep the weeds from coming up, and then mulch with about 2 to 3 inches of just hardwood mulch, and you can have it dyed if you really want it. And that will conserve moisture, keep weeds down. Past that, it's just good watering through the summer.
All right, perfect. Can Kimberly transplant or split perennials like tulips or lilies yet, being it's been so mild?
Tulips you have to wait until fall. Lilies you have to wait until fall. And you want to mark the area now so you can find them, because there's not going to be anything there when fall comes, and you will dig, divide, reset sometime early September.
Somebody found a bag of spring bulbs in their unheated garage they forgot to plant. If they put them in a pot, will they bloom this spring?
No, they will not. It takes 15 weeks of cold in the pot after they have been planted, and we're well past that limit at this time. I would just go ahead and plant them directly in the ground, pray that they go ahead and grow, and the fact that, again, they've been depleted, we're still looking at a couple of years before you're actually going to see any bloom on them.
All right, Craig, thank you. That was our last question. We tried to get through them all, just about got through them. But you can join our Facebook Live each and every week, on Wednesdays, of course, where you can be a part of that conversation. We will be right back.